All right, we're back. Ian was going to jump on, but he's in a contract dispute. He wants more money to appear on the show. He doesn't get paid at all to be on the show. Let me be real. So we called in a backup. We got Jacob Larson on the show for the first time ever. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. First summer since graduated high school, just working, getting ready for college. It's nice.
Yep. Where are you going?
I'm going to Brookings, SDSU. I'm going to study civil engineering.
Hell yeah. Um, uh, we like to start off this sometimes with a little bit of a debate of sorts. So if you had to pick one of these two movies to watch for the rest of your life, which would you pick? Remember the Titans or Miracle?
Remember the Titans.
That's the
And I
correct
can't I
answer.
can't elaborate. Yeah, I can't elaborate on that, but
Yeah.
definitely going to choose Remember the Titans.
Yeah. I I can relate to that more than I can, you know, 1980 USSR. Like I never lived during the Cold War. I can't relate to that. But
Yeah.
I've seen racism plenty of times. But anyways, yeah, that was a question I saw asked online today, and it was 60 some percent. Remember the Titans. So a good amount of America agrees with you. So
Miracle's
first,
really nice too, though.
it
I mean, they're
is
both phenomenal.
it is, but it's Disneyfied, which means you don't really get all of the story. Like I've heard Micah Ruzzaroni, the guy, one of the stars of that, uh, Team USA. I've heard he's a real, just not a good guy. But
Yeah, that's the thing with those Disney movies. They're always good, but it's hard for them to be great.
yeah. But our first topic is we have some UFC talk. Did you watch any of the fights this weekend?
I watched it all on Twitch. Had to hop from stream to stream, but yeah, I watched the whole main card basically from Sean O'Malley onwards. I was pretty invested in a couple of those fights. Not so much the main card like McGregor and Poirier so much
Yeah.
because like I like, contrary to most people, I like McGregor, but not a whole lot, and he hasn't been good in quite a while,
No,
frankly.
I don't think he's won a meaningful. Like he hasn't won a fight.
It's been since 2016 when he fought
Yeah,
Khabib that he's been on top basically.
yeah.
He
I
left
mean,
in he left in box Mayweather, and that's basically what started the whole downfall
yeah.
thing, in my opinion.
He did beat Cowboy Cerrone in like 12 seconds. I feel like. Um,
Yeah, but Cowboy's also just one of those Asian guys. Like he's been in there for such a long time,
yeah,
and he's really good. I mean, he's got the record for most wins ever in the UFC, but he's just not that guy anymore. And he'd been in a couple title fights, but he'd really never been that guy for the most part. He's just been somebody that's always willing to go out and work, and he'll always show up and he'll always show out.
what did you
But
think
yeah,
of the what did you think of the trash talk at the end of it?
I mean, there's meaningful reasons for both those guys to hate each other for the most part. Like the stuff that happened with after that third fight with the charity, that I mean, that's got to leave a sour taste in both those guys' mouth. So I can really
Yeah,
understand the disdain. I really didn't like when Poirier, like there are times to call someone a dirtbag and stuff like that, and McGregor definitely, of all the other fighters, like he deserves it probably more than any of or he's up there anyways because he
yeah,
talks a lot of shit. But I don't think the time is after somebody fractured their leg. Like I had a wrestling match. It was my junior year, and I forget what it was with the knee, but I fucked that guy's knee up really bad. Um, and like it wasn't a fun match. It was pretty gritty, but like just like having an opponent get injured it doesn't feel like a real win to me,
True.
anyways. And
It's
so
like
like,
it's like winning by forfeit.
yeah, it's just like winning by forfeit, in my opinion. But
But
yeah, so that left, I didn't like that at all. Yeah, we'll see if there's a fourth installment. I don't think it will be, because Poirier should get a title fight. He's better than
should.
Oliveira, in my opinion. He's been the number one contender for I don't know how long, and he deserves it because he's beaten everyone in the division.
Yep.
So he should get that title fight, and I don't see McGregor working his way up to earning a title fight anymore. He's just not that. He's just old.
No. He's a star. Like he'll make a ton of money for the UFC, but he's not what he was anymore.
Yep, and it's just one of those things. It's one of those things where you'll always tune in, but you just don't expect to see that guy anymore.
It's like Mike Tyson at the end of his prime.
Yep,
is what it feels like.
Big Cat said that on Pardon My Take.
I know. It's
Gotcha.
copying some stuff. I'm sorry.
No, I'm kidding. It's true though. I mean, he's right. I mean, you could even make the parallel to someone like Kobe in his final years.
True.
When he was playing up there, because he wasn't really at his top of the game. But he's still Kobe.
This is like when Kobe tore his Achilles, basically. It's what it feels like to me. But the best part of the entire night, at least in my view, was seeing Greg Hardy get his ass kicked.
Oh yeah, I love that, especially when it's like one of those. I don't know what it is about that accent, but I have not met a person with that accent that I dislike. Like those, and you see all the belly jiggle on that guy. It was really hard to hate. He just came in with the smile, and then he just absolutely rocks a guy who rocked his wife, and or I don't know if it was his girlfriend or his wife, but
I think it was his girlfriend, but it doesn't really matter. It's domestic abuse.
Yeah, I mean, I could watch that every night.
It was just announced today Nick Diaz versus Robbie Lawler is going to happen. What are your thoughts on that?
I didn't think that was the fight to make, really, because I mean, there's so many interesting Nick Diaz fights I think you could make, especially with like younger guys within that division too. He's a middleweight, correct?
Believe so.
Yeah, so like I was hearing like that Hamzat Chimaev guy. His name was like tossed in the ring, but I think he actually turned that fight down. Chimaev did. But there's like a bunch of interesting people within that division that I think could have given him a run. I think Masvidal would have been a nice fight as well.
Yeah,
because Masvidal's kind of stuck in a place where he doesn't really know where to go. He's had 2 title fights, neither of them have been close. So somewhere like Nick Diaz would give him a big paycheck, and he's had beef with the little brother Nate.
Yep.
So I think that'd be just an interesting fight to make. But Robbie Lawler is a great fighter too, so I think those guys it'll be a fight to watch. I mean, it's a Diaz fight.
Yep. Given he Masvidal, because you talked about him earlier, that there was that one fight. I think he took it on like 2 weeks' notice or something like that.
Yeah, that first fight when he flew to Abu Dhabi, that really, I didn't, I wasn't a huge fan of him, but once I saw that, and they like put out the videos of him getting all the way down, that dedication just to like fly across overseas, short notice, like no one ever really thought that he had a chance in that fight, and he went out there and he showed some heart. But frankly, that first fight wasn't really close, and neither was the second fight. The second fight, where he had a full training camp, was farther apart.
Yep.
Usman's just so good.
Yeah. My least favorite part of the show. Well, I didn't actually see her on camera or anything. I just saw the tweet. I don't know who this Addison Rae is. I believe she's a TikTok star.
Yep, she's huge on TikTok.
Yeah.
I think she's like top 5. She's like
38 million followers or something like that.
I think it's more than that even, but yeah, it's an insane amount.
Yeah, but she had a tweet where she said she only went to journalism school for 3 months and she's covering a UFC event for them. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, there are way more deserving people than Addison Rae to cover a UFC event, one of which Dana White has banned in Ariel Helwani. So, I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, I think I was reading up on that actually after I got off work here not too long ago, and um some UFC officials stated that like they never hired her or anything like that. That was basically a publicity stunt. It's like one of those
Okay.
things where you bring a celebrity on. But yeah, there was a big overreaction on Twitter from people that just love to hate on people because they're on TikTok, basically.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where like it's a you're different, I don't like you type thing. It was basically a big publicity stunt, but she's taking it really well. Um, and obviously, yeah, there are people very qualified, but one thing
Yeah.
that I thought of was, journalism school doesn't do a whole lot if you're not able to get the people to pay attention to you.
True.
I mean, that's a
True.
lot of what that is. And she's been able to do it better than all the people that were complaining about going to it and having to switch careers. I mean, you know how you had to claw your way up through the
True.
business. And I heard you might be getting a little promotion there,
Uh,
possibly, or I guess, well, it's not really a
possibly
promotion.
it. You know what? We'll discuss it while I'm here. Uh, I saw somebody offering a job at Barstool Sports where you could basically go around and show people what the Barstool Sports book app is about. You go around, show people how to use the app, kind of educate people a little bit about gambling, sports betting responsibly and stuff like that, how to use it. And I applied. Haven't heard back yet because it was literally, I, I did that at probably about 1:00 today. And, yeah, it's been kind of a whirlwind, ever since then. Mentally, I've like almost checked out, but, I hope to get it. I'll be honest, I don't expect to.
Is it
You
just
know,
the one job, or is it like a whole
yeah,
slew of? It's just one.
yeah. Well, it'd be a full-time position, but I'd go around to all the different casinos that they have, because they only have the sports book. The Barstool Sportsbook, I think, is only open in 5 states right now, and they're looking to expand. So I mean, I'd be the perfect candidate to help them probably expand to South Dakota for sure. Just have me go to Deadwood and teach all of them how to do that. That'd be perfect. Um, but yeah, I don't expect to get it, but I want it
That'd be
pretty
really cool.
pretty badly. Yeah. I've told people since I got here, I didn't expect to stay here my entire life, but I mean, you always got to plan for that possibility. So, and on top of that, some of my favorite athletes are leaving, uh, yourself included. um, and I'm sure you've seen or heard the news about another one, and that just makes me a little sad because I'm not sure if we're going to be making any Vermilion trips this year.
You know, I kind of would like to dispute that. We got
Go
a really
ahead.
nice,
Go ahead.
we got a really nice young sophomore quarterback that's
Yep.
gonna be having to take the reins over. Or no, he's I think he might be a freshman actually. Ah,
Are we talking about the
I don't
same
know.
guy?
I'm talking about Cade Kaiser.
Yep, of course. Yeah, I believe he's a sophomore.
Yeah, phenomenal, frankly. I mean,
Okay.
we did a lot of stuff. We did a lot of workouts together, basically. Like it'd be in practice. I guess he'd get brought up, and we'd do a bunch of stuff with him. And I think he actually quarterbacked for our JV for a good part of the season too.
Okay.
Um,
I'm
he's like,
Oh, go. I mean, I was just gonna say he got a few reps and a lot of blowouts, but that was against like second and third stringers.
yep,
What's he gonna be like during against the first stringers? That's what I'm interested about. And on top of that, we had a very good offensive line, of which you were a part of. You and Houston Lundy and a few other people. Those guys are all gone.
yep. I could go on about that. And it's just we had a lot of growing pains last year too with Lincoln at quarterback, and
Yep.
he was phenomenal at the end of the year. But there was a midway point through the year where, I mean, I think he'd even agree. It wasn't a sure thing. Um, I think we could get the same thing out of Cade. I mean, his brother was a phenomenal athlete
True.
as well, and I think just knowing Cade, and I first met him in baseball, extremely humble from the start. He's so kind, and he works so hard in the weight room and everywhere else. He's
Almost
got
ran me. Almost ran me over at a track meet. Not gonna lie. I'm sure you heard
he
that story.
yeah, he just he's everything a winner should be, and I think he's got all the intangible, like he's got everything God gave to him. Is
Yep.
just He's got all the pieces, he just needs to put it together. That line though, that is going to be a big question mark for us, because I know Christian's still recovering from his foot thing, I believe. I haven't really talked to him in a while, but he broke his foot
Yep.
with a little weight room incident that I'm sure you've seen on Twitter.
Yep. I've heard
um
about that.
yeah. And then Brady also, his back is all screwed up. I think he's got a fracture or something in
Oh,
it. So he won't be back until maybe midway through the season, is what I've heard. I talked to him about it, which that really sucks. Those two guys were, or I mean, they are supposed to be. They're like, those are the next two big linemen, big guys coming out of Pierre.
yep.
So we're gonna have to rely a little bit more on our underexperienced guys, but I think people like Gavin Stotts, who's been in the weight room, and he was my practice partner in wrestling. He's got a lot of potential. He's really strong. He's growing. He's going to be a good athlete for us in these next 2 years, as well as Jaden Floor. You saw a lot of him
Yep.
at small stints in the defensive line last year. He's just huge, high energy. In the weight room, he puts in a hell of a lot of work. He's so strong and he's quick. He could be a damn good lineman for us as well if he can put the pieces together offensively. And even people like Josh Ryberg, Alec Pickard. Alec Pickard went off to military boot camp. We'll see what that does
Ooh.
to him. Like Denton went off to boot camp last summer, and he came back, and he was a hell of a different athlete, and he could really just hone it in sometimes. So we'll see what boot camp does for Pickard. And I know Ryberg's been putting in a lot of work too. I think he just got sidelined with an injury. I forget what it was. It wasn't an injury. He got his wisdom teeth taken out. Never
Okay.
mind. Not
Well, that's
not an
that's
injury.
that's technically an injury. We'll classify that as one. I,
Yeah.
I think this might be a bad time to bring this up, but last year there was a when people were picking who was going to go to the state finals.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I actually picked against us.
It's fine.
Yeah. I saw how we played against Yankton in the first game, and I was like, Yankton's pretty tough. And even you would probably say that Yankton game, the way it went in that first one, probably not the way you wanted to.
No, we had just like communication wise on our offense, we just had a terrible game. We were hardly communicating if it wasn't yelling at each other because someone else messed up, and it wasn't our fault. No, it was someone else's fault. Nobody wanted to accept blame that game. And then after that week, and then the next week, where I think it was it would have been the next week.
Yeah, but that game
Um,
got canceled because of
Yep. We
because
took that week.
Well,
we took that week and looked. It was COVID.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you can say COVID. I say T was afraid of us, but you know.
No, it was us. I mean,
I know.
we only had 22 people, I think, at practice, or maybe it was
Yikes.
even less than that. It was. I mean, I was one of them. I was gone until.
Really?
Yeah, I was in
I did not
quarantine
know that.
until I got off quarantine at 3 o'clock the day of the spearfish game and started.
That's right. That's right. So I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. Reagan was on the sideline, like up in the stands watching the
For that
game.
spearfish game. I think Rouse was as well.
Yeah.
Because we had to have Chase Sarda, who he'll be really good for us this year too. I think he had to start for us in that spearfish game too.
I'm gonna say it now. Watch out for Brock Mosier. He might be a pretty good running back, I think.
Yeah, hopefully Buddy can grow a little bit because he's just so damn short. But yeah, Brock's a really great kid. He puts a lot of work in. But he's just we call him Mighty Mouse for a reason. Same reason we
Really?
called Cade that.
Okay.
Yep. Let's see if he can rise above his vertical challenge. But yeah, he's a really hard worker in the room. He's also just one of those guys where he's just a winner.
Okay, that was a impromptu discussion on peer football. I love that.
Yeah, I could go on and on about it. I've been so excited to watch this next generation of kids because we had so many seniors leaving. It's like so many question marks. I was talking with a Brookings D lineman that I actually was basically faced up against for both of our 2 games against. I was talking with him at a track meet, and they don't really think that we're going to bring anybody back. And I was telling him, I'm like, you might not want to underestimate us. I think we got a pretty solid core of guys. It's just whether or not we can piece it together, whether we can get the people where they need to be to succeed. But yeah, I mean, talent certainly hasn't left us, at least for a couple more years.
I wonder if Brookings will be able to bring a bunch of Minnesota talent over.
I don't think so. Half my family's from Minnesota, so we've known a lot about them. And I had some fans over in Minnesota rooting against Brookings because they were upset that they left. But yeah, Minnesota I think should be back basically this fall, and they actually did play some football last year. It's just that they started later and they only had district championships. So yeah, shouldn't be any recruits coming over from the East, at least. We'll see what else, but Brookings should have a good team. And then with some of those A schools and AAA schools coming in, it'll be a different year for sure.
Yep. So the next thing on the docket is and I know you haven't really paid too much attention to the Stephen A debacle. Stephen A. Smith, he was on First Take, I think it was yesterday, and he said that Shohei Ohtani, who I'm sure you are, I would hope you're a fan of.
Who's that? No, yeah, I know who Shohei Ohtani is. Yeah.
Yeah. He said that Shohei Ohtani can't be the one of the faces of baseball because he has to have an interpreter in order for you to understand him.
Oh, you know what? I did see a clip it was the clip you posted of not agreeing with, forget who it was. But you were talking to somebody and he's like,
Jeff Passan.
You were like, you said something like, I never thought I'd be agreeing with him.
Yeah.
I'm
not a big Jeff Passan guy, but he stated that Stephen A did a lot of damage to the Asian community, hurt a lot of their feelings, and he said that we need to do a lot to strengthen that bond. And then he also said that Shohei had basically left home so he could chase the American dream.
Yep.
And
I remember
watching
that clip now. I remember watching that clip now. Yeah, it's just one of those off the wall things that I thought Stephen A probably was just saying this because he's Stephen A and he's got to say something. He always has something to say about something. Yeah, it's just one of those things where he is literally the American dream, and Stephen A is like, there's nothing American about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one of those weird TV moments. Just like the Rachel Nichols thing the other week or last week. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some of those people in those elevated positions just think they can say dumb shit and get away with it.
Yeah. And Stephen A, he's the highest paid employee at ESPN, makes $12 million a year. If you think he's going to be fired because of this, you're wrong.
Nope.
So,
and I think that might have had something to do with why Passon objected it so profoundly.
Yeah.
You know, because Stephen A might not get fired, but maybe some of those lower people that let it happen, he was like, I can't let that happen in front of everyone else.
Yeah. Speaking of the Rachel,
it needed to be said.
Yeah. Speaking of the Rachel Nichols thing, the Rachel Nichols thing. I still don't know if I should be on Rachel's side or Maria Taylor's side. I do know this, that when I was a kid, ESPN was my dream job. It is not my dream job anymore.
Yeah, I can't say I take either person's side because first off, I don't think that either of them are very good at their job.
I think Rachel is, for sure.
I've just never been like when she used to, I don't know if she still does. I've stopped watching ESPN altogether. But when she used to like do the jump, I don't know if she still does.
She still does.
Yeah, some of those storylines just seemed like, okay, is this really about sports? Like, what are we doing here? This is Sports Center.
True.
And like they're just, some of those stories just so fabricated. I was like, I don't know if it's her or just the whole platform in general, but this is just not consumable content. And from what I hear, it was some ex NBA player. I think it might have been Pippen, but I mean, with some of the things he's said recently, I'm not sure how credible he is. But he said basically that what Rachel Nichols said was true. And so I don't know why he would say that after adamantly coming out just the other day and telling everyone that Phil Jackson's a racist for drawing up a play for someone else.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I think that gives Rachel credibility, although it's from an uncredible source. It's just like
it's very uncredible.
He's trying to like such a perpendicular compared to what he was on. I don't know what he was on the other week, but when he was talking about Phil, it's like, why would he say something like that and say something like that if it was untrue? But I don't know. It's a whole weird situation. It's just ESPN's kind of a dumpster fire at this point.
By the way, that was Dan Patrick he was on. The person I would trust to have a actual like good opinion on the whole Rachel Nichols, Maria Taylor thing is Robert Horry. He's on the jump all the time. Very good guy. He stated on his podcast, the Big Shot Bob podcast, which, I mean, great podcast. Go ahead and go listen to that one after you're done listening to this. He, by the way, we're in talks of getting him on. That's neither here nor there. But Robert stated that he doesn't believe Rachel is racist or anything like that. I mean, if you look at any of the all the people that she has on the show, they're all African American. Like it used to be Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce gone from there. But like Jay Williams and I'll be on. I think Jalen Rose is on that show as well. Could be wrong.
Yep, I think he's been on. I mean, he at least is periodically.
Yeah, but he said it basically felt like Rachel has this job. Maria Taylor wants Rachel's job, and Rachel doesn't want to give that up. So that's what it felt like to him, and he's on the jump all the time. So
yeah, I don't know. It was just one of those things where the ESPN it made ESPN look bad more than anyone else. I think also in those statements, Nichols said something about knowing that it was a diversity hire because she had been on the receiving end of one of them before.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, man, this company is really just, it's just, the quality's just gone so downhill. There's only one ESPN show that I'll watch, and that's PTI because it hasn't changed.
Yep. Around the Horn I like, but
that one's nice. But I think the main reason I would watch Around the Horn is because of that dude that left, whose name I forget.
Woody Page?
He left. Was he on PTI and then left PTI to do that, or it was a dude that left PTI to do Around the Horn?
I have no clue who you're talking about. Then Tony Reale.
That would have been him.
He used to do the stats at the end of the episodes for PTI,
and I think the errors as well.
Yeah. But if you think I actually have a book on my actually I can see it right here. It's called Those Guys Have All the Fun. It's the history of ESPN. I have that on my bookshelf right next to my desk here. And if you think that what's going on right now is bad, they have a whole history of bad things.
And that's just stuff that would have happened before I was old enough to know.
Yeah. Stuart Scott, one of the biggest Sports Center anchors of all time, was treated terribly there. But anyways, something a little bit, possibly a little bit better topic here. Do you like seeing England be miserable?
No, in a weird way. Well, it was funny until I heard the reports about just all the racially charged shit that happened.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, these people talk a hell of a lot of shit about the US for being a country that can spike in hate crimes because they lost a soccer game.
Yeah.
Like a radical spike, not just a small thing. Like this was nationwide. It was like insane, I thought. And I was like, well, we have a lot of, our country's pretty fucked, but we're in comparison, we're not that fucked up.
No.
It's not, it's not like there's some utopia somewhere else. I took a second to breathe. I was like, all right, we're fine.
Yep.
We're going to be okay, because it's just that we're still making progress in the whole flow of things. And it's not like we're 200 years behind everyone else.
No. For those unaware, England lost in very dramatic fashion in the it's very confusing because it's technically the 2020 Euros, even though it's 2021. They lost on penalty kicks to Italy, who is kind of one of their big rivals. It's like Italy and France, I feel like, are England's big rivals. And the game was in Wembley Stadium in London. England hasn't won. You want to talk about hasn't won anything in a long time. England hasn't won anything since 1966. And they're supposed to be, and soccer was started in England. It's the home of soccer. That's like if America decided not to win at football if it was in the Olympics or something.
Or basketball like this year.
Well, we won tonight. We beat Argentina.
Yeah, we should beat Argentina every single time.
Well, not when they had Manu Ginobili and those boys, but
yeah, but that team was the reason we had the Redeem team. Yep. It was like that was an embarrassment, and that was a good team. We've lost to some Mickey Mouse teams so far. It's kind of embarrassing given our roster of entirely all-stars. It's like we could put an NBA team out there and they should be able to do better than that, like just a regular one.
And it's not our full team yet. There's still some players on the Suns and Bucks that have to report. So I mean, first of all, I mean, I didn't plan on talking about it, but have you been watching the NBA Finals?
I have. I watched Game 3 just the other night. It's kind of hit or miss for the Suns. I think the Suns will win for sure.
Yeah, same.
Because as much as I like the supporting players around Giannis, I like Drew Holiday and I like Chris Middleton. Those are just people that I feel like I just have a good feeling about those guys. Like I just feel like they're, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I like those guys, but I don't think I can count on them to be what they were that night. And then also Devin Booker having, it was like the Bucks were at their best and the Suns were at their worst. And in all reality, it wasn't that big of a blowout.
Yeah. You know, I like Pat Connaughton because I watched him a lot when he was at Notre Dame. My favorite player on the Bucks is actually injured right now, Dante DiVincenzo, former Villanova guy. He's injured.
Yep, I remember watching him in the tournament.
I saw a thing the other day where it was Giannis and Thanasis combined for 41 points in Game 3, and just the most points for a brotherly duo in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, Giannis had 41.
Yeah. You know, I want the Suns to win because I mean I have friends in actually kind of both places, actually in both the Phoenix and Milwaukee area. But you know, Milwaukee won a title in the 70s. Phoenix has never won a title in, I think the last time a team from Arizona won a title was probably 2001 when the Diamondbacks beat the Yankees. So it's been a while. I want the Suns to win. That's just that.
Yeah, Chris Paul. It'd be nice to see him get his.
Yes.
I mean, Giannis has years and years ahead of him, and he's going to be at the top of the league, especially if he can ever develop a free throw or a jump shot.
Yep. People were talking about Chris Paul being kind of unlikable, you know, because some people think he's a dirty player.
Yeah, he's chippy.
I think, and this sounds weird to say, I think the commercials help. I think the commercials have helped make him a little bit more likable. You know, the Cliff Paul, the commercial where he turns into a basketball. You know, all the State Farm commercials. I think that makes him a little more likable.
I think it's that, and also just that the league has caught up to him. I mean, we've had guys like Marcus Smart come in, where it's literally his whole game for a couple of years before he got pretty good there recently. But his whole game for a couple of years was just to go out there and flop and foul someone out, or try his damnedest to foul someone out.
Like so Bruce Bowen back in the 2000s.
Yeah, like so I feel like just the entire league as a whole is caught up, especially with people like Trae Young and James Harden flopping every time they shoot just to go to the line. It's made it a lot harder for people to look at Chris Paul flopping and be like, wow, that's so outrageous, when their team's favorite player is doing it. Yeah, you know, I think it's that. I think it's that he's been a great voice for the whole NBPA.
Yep. You know who the, you know, you talk about flopping when you're shooting, you know, trying to get a foul and stuff. You know who the biggest proponent of that was when I was a kid? Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller loved doing that. And now he's a average at best color commentator. Speaking of ESPN, because we talked about them earlier, the ESPYs happened the other day. I wrote down a few of my favorite awards that they handed out. For best game, the best game went to Gonzaga UCLA. Your thoughts?
Okay. I didn't watch it, so I can't.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. What were the other nominees?
I The only thing I saw was the winners. But
Oh, all right.
yeah. Then the Arthur Ashe Award went to Maya Moore for all of the things that she's done for social justice. Um, she campaigned to get a guy out of prison, and I think she married him after he got out of prison, which is a wild story. I hope they make that into a movie. That sounds amazing.
I'd watch that.
Best WWE moment. I know you're not a big WWE guy, but Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair becoming the first African American women to main event WrestleMania. That was huge. Best MMA fighter. I found this to be very interesting because he hasn't fought all year. It was Habib.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true, but it's like, you don't need to give it to him.
No.
I think someone like Adesanya.
Yep,
or
that's
Usman,
exactly what I was going to say.
Adesanya is just so good. I'll have to pirate every single fight he has until I can actually afford to buy him.
You're going to Brookings. I have a tip for you. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, I'll probably spend a decent amount of time there.
Yep. Buffalo Wild Wings, that's where I went for every UFC fight. And they don't have something like that here. So I haven't watched a UFC fight in probably 5 years almost. Actually, that's wrong. 2 years, because when Masvidal beat Ben Askren by, hitting him with that knee, that was when I tore my Achilles on Lake Okoboji. So I remember watching that while my foot was literally hanging off of my leg. Best team, though. Best team went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right, yeah, that's fair.
Best championship moment went to the Los Angeles Dodgers, which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember anything, I guess, spectacular about theirs. Didn't Tampa win it on their home field?
Yep, they did.
I feel like that's way larger than I guess I'm not sure the significance of the Dodgers. Maybe there's something I'm missing.
They
could have just been that they've been that so close these last couple of years,
yep,
and just never been over the hump. But
that, and they hadn't won since 1989, 87. Might be 88 because I was Kirk Gibson. Yeah, it was 88. They haven't won since Kirk Gibson hit a home run on a broken leg. So, the whole I don't believe what I just saw, that clip.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like winning a Super Bowl in your home stadium is more of a moment. I mean, it's a long time to go without winning a championship, but there are a lot longer droughts in sports right now.
Yeah.
Especially for teams that I root for. It's like the Timberwolves never won it, probably will never, given their track record recently.
Yeah, probably won't.
Yep. The Twins haven't, I think, what has it been since 87 or
91?
Yes, I'm not even.
Yeah,
it was 91. All right.
Yep, it was the year I was born. I was 7 months old, I think.
Yeah, it's like that's been about as long, but I wouldn't consider it some huge drought breaker. If we were to win it, it'd be like, oh, we won a championship. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really that long of a drought. When the Cubs broke theirs, that was
awesome.
That was a huge, way bigger drought than.
Yeah. Even as a Brewers fan, I was actually kind of happy for them.
It was nice. It was nice to see them have one good year and then go back to being the Cubs for the most part.
Yeah. And the Brewers have not been to a World Series since 1982. I want to break that streak so badly.
Yeah, so I just feel like there's more moments that can be had. So many teams don't win championships that a drought like that's just not really spectacular to me.
And you know what? While I'm here, I'll give you a little bit of trivia. So, I said the Brewers hadn't been to the World Series since 1982. Do you know who they played?
No.
Because they were in the AL at the time. The Brewers were. They played the Cardinals, who they are now division rivals with.
Yeah, that's a question that only Bennett Dean can answer.
I know, I know. He is weird when it comes to uh Duke players in particular.
Well, he's just a Duke super fan. He loves them.
Yeah.
Every year they're going to be amazing, and then if it's a bad year, it's like, oh, get rid of everyone. And
Yeah.
like it's college. You can't really do that. But yeah,
There's been some MLB rule tweaks that have been proposed by Rob Manfred to supposedly, in his words, get baseball back to its roots, whatever that may mean. He wants no extra innings runner on second base.
yeah, that's terrible.
You don't like? I'll be
No.
honest, I kind of like it.
As someone that played, I guess personally, I just hate that. I know it just ups the ante, but
Gets the game over
it just
quicker.
yeah, but it just doesn't feel like baseball to me. Anyways, you could do something else. I think that could speed the game up.
No more 7 inning double headers. That's another one he proposed. The next two, I'm kind of iffy on at least one of them. Universal DH across both leagues, so no more pitchers getting a chance to bat, which I love. I love it when pitchers get to bat. It's funny as hell.
Yeah, like that reliever that hit the grand slam off Max Scherzer.
Yes, I love that. And then banning or limiting defensive shifts.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah,
I think
he wants the infielders to at the very least have their feet planted in the dirt instead of like being like in the outfield.
Yeah. No, I think that shifts should be allowed. If you can't beat the shift as an MLB player, like you got something else going on entirely.
Yeah.
So I think like that's just like such a beatable aspect of the game. I don't know why you'd need to limit that.
And
it'd be like taking away a certain type of shot that has no effect on the game.
True.
Like,
well, I mean,
like if
they banned dunking at one point.
Yeah, but see, that's dumb.
And again, another trivia thing. You know, the player that was the reason why they had to ban dunking? It's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yep, I was about to say it's got to be one of those early, just absolute giants.
Yeah.
So I was thinking someone like Wilt or Bill Russell, but yeah, Kareem would be right up that alley as well.
The MLB draft, it's over and done with. A few notable things that I saw: Jack Leiter going to the Texas Rangers. Love that. Kumar Rocker going to, I believe, the Mets, and then Will Bednar. I don't know where he went. I think he went to the Phillies. I could be wrong. You might have to look that up for me. But on the local side, Cooper Bowman from Rapid City Post 22 fame got selected in the 4th round by the Yankees.
Yep, I saw that. That's just a feel-good story, especially just such a small state. You never hear about us, and so for someone to go that high, I mean, that's just big for a state like us.
Yeah. From everybody that I've talked to him, about him, former coaches and such, great kid, from what I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah. Also played basketball for Rapid City Stevens. He's a Stevens kid, so you know, I know you probably disagree with me on this, but as a neutral outside observer, if you had to make me choose between Central and Stevens, I would choose Stevens all the time.
I don't know. Stevens has a really good like athletic history about him. The Cobblers have always seemed to be like the ugly stepchild of the of the two. But like people like Cale Larson went to Cobblers, and I think very highly of him. So it's not that Cobblers can't. They have some really great coaches there too.
They do.
Just speaking wrestling wise, they've always just kind of been the little brother to Stevens, because Stevens has always just been huge. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't be picking one over the other. Coming from wrestling, I guess I'd always be rooting for an underdog. So I guess I'd choose somebody like the Cobblers, but I don't really have a bad taste in my mouth for either of them. I like both of the schools. I know people like Caleb Richter, who's a wrestler for Stevens. He's a really nice kid. He's kind of stupid, but I think he'll even admit
that. Part of the reason why I pick Stevens over Central is I've been to a Stevens Central game, and it was in Stevens. I love their gym. I love that their gym. And interesting fact, it's called the Carroll Tire Gym. After, I believe it's like the uncle or great uncle of the Hires that live here in Pierre.
Oh, all right. Yeah, my little brother's been on a team with it'd be Hayden Hire.
Okay,
I think.
Yep.
That kid's gonna be a damn good athlete. Like you could just already tell.
Same with Crew.
Yeah. I don't know him as well as I know Hayden, just because I've coached on some of my little brothers' like baseball teams and football teams and stuff like that. He's a good kid. Yeah, that's that arena is nice. I wish we had more wrestling events there, but anytime we do make the trip out to the hills, it's always in the arena. So there hasn't really been much opportunity for that. It's been youth tournaments basically. So like my brother had a little youth tournament in there, and it's a really nice place. Yeah, it's nice. What do I call it? Atmosphere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
While I have you here, I mean, obviously, you would probably pick, at home at Riggs Gymnasium in front of a packed house. But where would you say is the best wrestling atmosphere, not counting Pierre?
Not counting Pierre?
Yes.
You talking for us or just for any high school?
Well, for you that you've experienced.
Well, Brookings and Brandon.
Okay.
If you're talking a duel.
Okay.
Brookings will never have 14 wrestlers. For some reason their coach refuses to wrestle some of the people they do have, so they'll never trot out a full roster unless they have ample amount of able-bodied kids that can go out and compete. So it's always a night where it'll be like no one's really out there. Like we don't come with the energy like you would a Stevens duel or a Brandon duel.
Yeah.
But the whole gym will go dark. They'll have that center light out, and those Brookings people come out. They support their wrestlers well, and often we've left with losing records, and we still win the duel. But it's a hell of an atmosphere. They really support their player or the wrestlers for how little participation they have, and I'd say it's kind of the same thing with Brandon, except they're really good at wrestling because they've had some very lucky move-ins around the area, we'll call it. So they've just got a really talented roster, and everyone in that, that's one of them. Everyone in that community just really backs him. He's just one of many. So
yeah.
Call him out.
On the football side, what would it be? I feel like Brookings again is a great place to play in, because you're playing in
any of those college
the Dyke House.
Yeah, any of those college fields are just phenomenal to play at because the facilities are amazing.
I've heard good things about Mitchell. I don't know why, but I feel like I have.
That was one that comes to mind. Yeah, Mitchell people are crazy. That's they always
Huron
get
people
just
are too.
insane. Yeah, but they're not as good at Mitchell as sport at Mitchell when it
True,
comes to sports.
true. But I seem to remember that state championship game against Huron, and their fans were a little riled up, we'll say.
Well, yeah, I would be too. No one expected them to be there. They
No.
came into the playoffs with a losing record, and they got all the way to the dome. And after that loss that we handed them, they were a 500 team. So I would be just as riled up if we had a 4-7 season and then won 3 games and made it to the dome or won the dome or something like that. Yeah, that'd
Yep.
be insane. It's just
So
that was a Cinderella type run, especially because that Harrisburg team was so good.
oh yeah. But that's all that I have. Do you have any closing thoughts?
No, not really. It was nice to talk to you. It's kind of been a while. I'm not really doing any sports anymore. That's the only place I ever saw you. So
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for coming on. You stay on for a little post show debriefing. I love saying that. I don't know why. But thank you for coming on.
yeah, no problem.